Clicker here. Awesome. So I'm going to chat to you with a little bit of jet lag. So if I spontaneously yawn, just poke me. So I thought what I'd do is I'll show you a bit of background and talk a little bit about the challenge that I have right now in the organisation I'm working. And then I thought what we could do is have a chat about some of the experiments that I've tried and what I've learned from those. And then I wondered if you'd be up for a bit of a game. You up for a bit of a game? Because, you know, it's late, it's Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Yeah, it's Tuesday, yeah. It's Tuesday, and I find, like, these types of things work better when it's not just me talking, you're actually talking as well. So are you up for that? Yeah, good, excellent, good. I'm not going to force anyone to sit in the front row. I usually pick on people in the back row, so it's up to you if you want to move forward, that's fine. Okay, so a little bit about me. So I've been in Australia 10 years, coming up to 11 years, but I'm an Agile coach. I work for a law firm, and I've worked for a law firm for exactly 1 year. But prior to that, I've been working in financial services. So I've worked for a lot of the major banks, like National Australia Bank, ANZ. I also worked for a life insurance business, and that was born out of NAB as well. So when I was offered a job in a law firm as an Agile coach, I'm like, what the? Why does a law firm want an Agile coach? It was a bit strange to me, but they chased me down and made me an offer that I really couldn't refuse. And they offered me a lot of ice cream, which is also another favourite thing of mine. You don't have any of that? No, just joking. Okay, maybe we can get some after. But they also offered me a lot of ice cream as well, so that tempted me to join them. But I didn't quite know what I was getting into. So, you know, the conversation we were just having about, you know, these moralists and how they can be no fun and not the kind of people to have at parties, lawyers. I know there's a lot of talk about lawyers being, you know, very set in their ways. I didn't quite understand what I was walking into, I'll be honest with you, 12 months ago. So let me explain the challenge I had. A law firm are very, very set in their ways. And this is one of the top law firms in Australia. They're very established. They've got this real traditional mindset. You know, they've studied hard to become lawyers. It's been long and it's been hard, and they've learnt the way to be a great lawyer. And because they've studied really hard and that they think they're the smartest people in the room, they want to be known as the smartest people in the room as well. And that's pretty hard to deal with. They've also got a pretty established business model. They charge by the minute, you know, 6-minute blocks of time. They are trusted. They don't like to take risk. They're perfectionists. So, you know, they let perfect get in the way of progress. Your designers here will be thinking that's not a good thing, surely, because, you know, as an Agile coach, I'm like, I don't let perfect get in the way of making progress. So that was pretty tough for me. They're also incredibly busy, and time is money. Like, seriously, time is money. So if you're trying to get time with them, unless it's billable time, that's really tough. And they're pretty successful. I mean, to be a top law firm, they must have been doing a lot of things right. So therefore, why should they improve? Why should they do something different? Why do they need an Agile coach, for God's sake? And also, I think they're very image conscious. They do not want to look anything but perfect. So they're smart dressers. You know, my last role before there, I was working at MLC Life. I was leading a design team, architecture team, business analyst team, Agile coaches. You know, we hung around in jeans and trainers and, you know, wear a shirt this morning and put on nice... I've changed my shoes. I didn't wear my trainers, but It's really hard for me to go and join a law firm and change the way I was thinking and looking to fit in with them so that they would actually talk to me like I was a person and not, some minion, because I've not got a law degree. I haven't got a degree, to be honest with you. Just got here by luck and good looks. Sorry, manager. So what did I do? Well, here's what I did, and here's what anyone could do. So this isn't special to me because I'm not the smartest person at all. I looked at the organisation and I looked at the people and I looked at the structure. How does this business work? Because, being a law firm is just like another business. They're there to make money. They offer a service and they have products. How does it work? What are the services? What are the products? What's the mission of the organisation? What's the strategy? What are they trying to be? Are they a top law firm? Do they want to be number one? What is it that they're trying to achieve? How do they actually make money? How do they charge for their services? What happens when it goes wrong? What's the competitors doing? Not just what the competitors doing, but who's disrupting the legal business right now? Consultancies like, EY, PwC, KWM, they're all, starting law firms. But loads of technology companies are building software and systems that are disrupting law firms. So actually the competitors are not just other lawyers or law firms anymore. I needed to get to understand their persona. So I needed to understand that they are image conscious, they are time poor, they do want to be the smartest person in the room. And God help me, I had to play to that a bit, but I needed to understand that. I also needed to understand the unwritten rules. Do you know what I mean by unwritten rules? Can somebody give me an example of an unwritten rule? Something like that, but like just watching people, what time do they come into work? Does everyone take a lunch break? What time do people show up to meetings? Are they on time? What are the protocols? What are the things that are not written in the employment contract that people are doing? Do people voluntarily share opinions in meetings, or do they wait to be asked? Does everyone have a voice? These are the unwritten rules. These are the things to watch for in an organisation. Look at what's going on, because in every organisation, you just don't see them straight away. This is how we do things around here, bullshit. There's other things going on in organisations. It's how they want to do things, but they're not always doing them that way. Not everyone will take a lunch break. Some people will eat lunch at the desk. Some people, will go out on a lunch break, but are they judged for that? The meeting etiquette's really important, especially for lawyers, because they're clocking every 6 minutes. So if you're inviting them to a meeting, you better, be clear to have a purpose for that meeting, an outcome for that meeting, and get a decision in that meeting. Otherwise, you're wasting that time, and they're not going to like that. But that's the same in a lot of organisations, especially with senior leaders and executives. Their time matters. So, why shouldn't we go into a meeting with a clear purpose and a decision? Now I do that all the time. I put it on the wall. This is what I'm going to do today. This is the decision we're trying to get to. Right? Have we got the right people in the room? Does everyone in the meeting need to be present here? Who's just here for the fun of it and have got nothing better to do? Because, that's no good. So I give people the option to be in a meeting. Are you going to be able to contribute to the decision? The answer's no, then send them away. Give people a choice. So it's taught me a lot about not just working in a law firm, but the kind of things that matter, that really would be relevant. Some of the experiments that I did, and some that have been pretty successful. When I talked about agility in the organisation, I asked people what was agility in a law firm, and they told me it was flexi-desking, working from a different location. I'm like, what? It's working from home. I said, no, that's flexible working. That's not agility. So understand the terms that are used in your organisation, because You know, you might use a term that would be really important and something you use every day, but to another organisation, it means something completely different. Apparently, I learned this pretty quickly, lots of law firms use agility and do mean flexible working. So I needed to reset the rules on the language. I needed to understand, you know, if I was going to use the term agility, I needed them to understand what that really meant. The other piece that I did a bit was to help the organisation by introducing things like meetups and sponsoring speakers to come in. So we got a guy, Barry O'Reilly, you might have heard of him. We sponsored him to come and talk from San Francisco, and he's just recently did a book called Unlearn, excellent book, and he did a talk on that book. And we sponsored that event, and we held an event in Melbourne and Sydney, and we invited some of our clients as well to that. And that was a really great way to sort of help our people in the organisation understand what agility meant, and also get them close to working with different people and interacting. I know that hackathons have been probably overused a lot, but we still do them. And what we tend to do is we partner with a university and we partner with clients. And what we tend to do is get our clients to give us some problems, and then over the weekend we get groups of students with a lawyer in each team to try and solve that using technology, using design thinking, using AI, machine learning. And we've been doing that really successfully. We've also been doing it with not-for-profit, which is a really worthwhile thing to do, where the last hackathon we ran was with Melbourne Uni, and we used a couple of not-for-profit organisations to share real challenges they've got, and then we got students and a lawyer to try and solve those problems for them as well. So that was giving back. Because I think people contribute to things where they feel like they're giving back. I also had the pleasure of working on a Future of Work event with our graduate community. So lawyers get graduates and they think, you know, they work really hard on trying to get a graduate to join the law firm. They do all this promotion. They say, this is the best law firm. You're going to be a great lawyer if you come and work for us. And then they come and work, and the first year they give them real grunt work, doing contract reviews of thousands of pages, and it's boring as shit. What I did was I designed an event after a year of the graduates being with us that taught them about agility, design thinking, gave them problem solving. I even had an art exhibition in there with artwork, and I got them to appreciate art and then got them to draw what they'd seen. They all had like the same picture that they could draw, and when I got them to place them down on the floor, and when they walked around, every picture was different. They all had seen the same picture, tried to copy it, but everyone's view is different. And it was a way of teaching them that, you know, we're all individuals and we see things differently. And although you're a lawyer and you've done all this study, there isn't one way to do things. There are many ways to do things. One of the ways that lawyers win work is not very exciting. Companies like BP or ANZ will put a bid out and say, we need the legal team to come and do X. And the law firm has to pull together a proposal. And the proposal is in a tender. I don't know if anyone's worked on tenders. Yeah? Oh my God. Documents and like pages and pages are pulled together in a tender. And I just wonder who reads these things and how they make decisions. So I was looking for an opportunity to do something different. And luckily, the government, can you believe it? The government gave me that opportunity. And they said, we want law firms to bid on this piece of work, but actually, we don't want you to do a tender, we want you to do something different. Any ideas? And I said, yes. Give us a scenario, give us 24 hours, and we'll come in and we'll do a workshop and present back to you how to deal with that scenario. And the lawyers were real estate lawyers, and they've been real estate lawyers for 30 years, very set in their ways. They looked at me like I was crazy, but the government said, yes, do it. Well, the lawyers were like, well, how are we going to respond to that? We'll get 24 hours notice. How will we pull together a pristine PowerPoint presentation? You won't. Well, what will we do? I said, we'll get the scenario, we'll get in a room, and we'll figure out how we're going to make it work. Well, how? And I said, follow me. We got the scenario. I put it up on the wall, and I said, have you ever worked on anything like this before? And he said, yes. I said, give me some examples. So we put post-it notes of what they'd done previously. And then I said, okay, out of all of these examples, which would have the most value to the client would be the easiest to implement? We prioritised them like that. And then I said, okay, if we were going to take this idea forward, what are the key milestones that we'd work on? What would it look like? And what are the risks? And what are the benefits? We pulled together this presentation on PowerPoint. And I said, okay, we're good. And they're like, well, the presentation's tomorrow, how are we going to get this on a PowerPoint and blah, blah, blah. I said, no, we're going to take these big post-it notes in. But it doesn't look good. Oh, and it looks great. It's got our thinking on there. It's got how you're going to work with the client. It's got everything you need. We don't do it like this. I said, you're going to give it a go. You need to trust me. Go to sleep. Come in the morning. We'll have a practice run. Came in the morning, had a practice run. I said, it was pretty good. I think you could improve on these areas, but I think you're there. Take your post-it notes, roll them up, go into the meeting and present. This is not going to go well. I'm sure it'll be fine. The meeting was at 2. They had an hour. At 3:02, my phone rings. Oh my God, it was the best thing we ever did. It was so good. They loved it. They loved the fact that we didn't have a PowerPoint. They got to see us in action. It was so good. We should do this all the time. Really? We've been doing this, this whole way for 30 years. And I went, mm-hmm. And they went, and the government. And I went, do you think you're going to win the work? We don't even care if we win it. It was just so good. So we did win the work, which helped. But but it's changing people's minds. It's trying something different. If I can convince lawyers who've been doing the thing for 30 years in the same way, why can't you convince people to try something different? You can. So how might you do that? Let's have a look. Okay, this is the bit where you're going to have to play the game, okay? So, what we're going to do is, I'm going to show you a picture. You're going to have a guess of what the tactic is, and then I'll explain. Okay, I'll take the first answer. I haven't got any prizes, and I'm keeping the llama just to be clear. Okay, so picture number 1. What do you think that means? This picture here. Any thoughts?
Data.
Yeah, I'd say it's data. Yeah. Measures. I think it's about measures. Understand how your organisation or the organisation you're working with measures success. Okay. Because if you want to contribute to an organisation, you really need to understand how it measures success. So what does it say its key metrics are? Understand that. If you can understand that, then you can actually influence it. What about number 2? History. History really matters. If you understand and look at the history of an organisation, of where it's won things, where it's lost things, you can, because history usually repeats itself. You can influence something if you look at the pattern in your organisation. What has it done? How many mergers has it been through? What successes has it had? What changes has it had? Have they made the same mistakes? Usually most organisations have, sadly. What about number 3? So number 3 is a picture of a wall that we had in a company called MLC Life. And this wall had every change on it. So it was basically a governance wall that showed you every change that the organisation was making. Now, what was different about this was there wasn't a meeting as such with paperwork where people got to make decisions about what projects got approved or what decisions got made. They had a wall. What that wall enabled the whole organisation to do is to understand what change was going on. Having a wall showing people what change is going on is really important because most organisations take on too much. And this allows you to see what is actually going on. And for executives to say, we're never going to do all this. We need to prioritise. What's the most important thing we need to do here? What's going to drive value? So having a governance wall is a really useful thing to do. And it's great for planning. And it creates visibility and it creates connection with employees and leaders and everybody. So it works really well. Okay. Thoughts about that? That was the answers. Okay, number 4. Any ideas? Yeah. This is about understanding how does your organisation make money and lose money. It's things you probably wouldn't always think about. But if you understand how the business model works, where does it make money and lose money, you can influence that. You can talk about what you're doing and how it's going to drive those forces. And that's not a hard thing to learn. I'm no mathematician. I'm not great at maths. I can just about add up reasonably well. But just understanding how we make money and how we lose money, massive influence. Number 5. I wish. It's waste. Waste. Every organisation has lots of it. You will spot it in everything you do. We follow a process. Why are we doing it? Well, because everyone said to do it this way. We've always done it this way. Why? Is there a better way? Can we change that process? How is your organisation recruiting people? How is it paying people? How is it paying vendors? Looking at those simple processes, and is there waste in them? There probably is. It's a great way to influence stakeholders if you can talk about how you can reduce the waste in an organisation. People listen to that. If you can save them time, if you can save them money, if you can save them waste, amazing. You can get a seat at the top table. Number 6. Meetups, hosting like this, great organisation. We're in here. Great. I've got 9 meeting rooms in my building. I can host meetups whenever I want. So if anybody's looking to host in a law firm, it's very nice offices. So great opportunity for organisations to meet, network, be known as a innovative organisation. Number 7. Ask questions. Challenge the status quo. When someone says, well, that's the way we've always done it, why? Why can't we change it? Oh, we tried that before. Well, what didn't work last time that we could then change and do differently this time? Don't rest with things. Ask questions all the time. Especially when people don't want to give you the answers. Ask them more questions. Don't give up. Number 8. How do ideas work in your organisation? So when someone comes with an idea, what happens to it? Are ideas championed? Are they, do people seek ideas quickly? Do they listen to them? Do they take them on? Do they do experiments? What do they do with ideas? Find out. Because if you want to make a change in your organisation or you want to do something differently, you need to understand how ideas happen. Because they do happen. There's not many no, we're not doing that. Oh, no ideas here. No new thinking. We're just going to do the same shit every day. That's not true. There'll be some organisations, maybe, but you've got to understand how ideas happen. Number 9. Listen, yeah? Listen to what? Whose opinions? Anybody more specific? That's where to understand how an organisation's working and where to solve problems. Listen to customer feedback, listen to customer complaints, get feedback and listen to it and act on it. Because just hearing the feedback isn't enough. You actually need to do something about it. You need to design experiments to solve. But you've really got to understand feedback. The first thing I did in my new role was, once I understand the structure and how we made money, was I got feedback from clients and listened to what they liked about our law firm, what they didn't, and really understood that and said, okay, well, this is where I can start to innovate and really make a difference because I've got real feedback here. And remember, one customer or one client isn't enough because they'll have their own view. So you need multiple data sources here. And that means that one size doesn't fit all, because if you solve for one client, it doesn't mean every other client's going to love that. So you need to take that into perspective. Number 10, this is a bit ambiguous. It's a cute drawing. Yeah, journeying into other organisations. Go on site visits. If you hear about a great organisation doing something, see if you can organise a site visit and take people who are closed minds to them and see what's going on and what's working well. For me, this is really useful. I've taken, lawyers, to ANZ. I brought ANZ to lawyers. I've gone into now. I've gone into a couple of other businesses, Seek, one of them, and just seeing how those organisations deal with similar problems is really useful for people, because you wouldn't think a law firm and Seek would have anything in common, but they do. Number 11. Yep. So this is it's really about doing research. It's really about understanding your competitors, your clients, your vendors, and bringing insights out and sharing them really well. So in my situation, what I did here was I'm trying to introduce agility into a law firm. So I needed to understand where was agility happening with their client base. So their clients are, lots of organisations who are using Agile. So that was a great way for me to say to lawyers, well, you've got to change the way you're working, because if your clients are working in an Agile way, you don't want to be the law firm that slows them down. And if you're charging by the minute and they want an outcome rather than by the minute, that's not going to work. So you're going to change your business model. So it was compelling for me to understand what our clients were doing, so I could sell that back to the lawyers and say, you need to change. We can't keep working the same way. So do your research. 12, you must know this, sure. Brainstorming, visual management. Lawyers doing visual management, they're all closed books, they don't want anything on the wall, they don't want to share information. But I'm like, it's not sensitive information. Put what you're working on. Put what's most important, what's in progress, what success is. Have stand-up meetings. You don't need to sit down and shuffle paper. You can talk. Visualize what you're trying to solve. You can use whiteboards. Use pictures. It's really interesting. It's not time management, but what it is adding up the time that's used in your organisation in meetings. So, for example, if your organisation has a board or an executive and you have to do a report, how many times do you think and how much time is spent on producing that report? And how many iterations does it go through? If you add up that time and you share with executives how much time is spent on that, and you say to them, what do you think your customers would want you to spend time on? Do you think it would be on meetings, time the executive will say, well, I really want it to be on products and services. That's what's making us money. But if you show them the amount of time is spent in meetings and how much time is spent in producing reports and having people review reports and iterate them and cross the T and dot the I and get all the ducks lined up and the alignment and the formatting of the report, they're going to go, really? Because I know as a customer, as a client in it for a law firm, I wouldn't want people spending money on that. I want them on solving my problem and managing, my situation. I wouldn't want them writing a bloody report. So add up the time your organisation spends on that and look at those statistics and share them with people. That will help them reduce the time they spend on that shit. Because it's not adding value. Nearly there. The game's nearly over, don't worry. Number 14. Yeah. What this is about is case studies. So everything you do, whether it's an experiment or a piece of work, a project, write a quick case study. What was the purpose of what you did? What did you achieve? What worked well? What didn't work well? A one-pager case study. Keep the case study and bring it into other projects or other events, because you'll probably have some relevant information. And if your organisation is like a lot of other organisations where they make the same mistakes again and again, these case studies will stop you from doing that. They're a great reference point. They're great also personally for you if you're looking to move careers. You've got a whole suite of case studies of things that you've worked on, what you've learned. The case studies are really fantastic. 15? Yep. Yeah, that's good. I'm going to go faster now. 16? Stories, yeah. 17? Retros, yeah. Always love a good retro. Might do one after. So what you're looking to do here is look at technology to streamline how you do things. So nearly every day there is new technology, coming out on how we do things. And most organisations will say, we can't use that technology, it doesn't align with our strategy. So look for opportunities to experiment with technology that isn't going to disrupt or upset your technology teams, but things you could pilot. So, for example, I use a lot of survey software. I use it on, my phone. The phone's a corporate phone, but I tend to use that as opposed to using my laptop so that the technology people don't get the shits on with me. Or I'll do research on something and I'll test out a new piece of software to review contracts and show lawyers this is how you can review contracts much faster. We'll set up pilots and experiments using new technology. Do some research on especially on technology that you've got or processes that is taking a long time. Hold retrospectives on everything. A standard meeting, just do a retro on it and ask people what they found was most valuable. Because just getting feedback isn't enough. I've realised that when you go into a meeting, at the end of the meeting, you go, how was that? People tend to say, not valuable to me. I want to know what worked well and what was most valuable about this interaction. Did we get an outcome that we all agreed with? I want to know what could we do differently next time? What didn't work for people? So hold retros, not just on, projects or, sprints that you've done. Hold them on anything, a standard meeting that you do regularly. Just do a retro on it. And there's so many different options with retros. My favourite is the L one, not because my name's Lani, but, the lacked and the lust for. I like that one. There's so many these days that, you can change up the retro each time you do it. Gone too fast. 18. Growth mindset, really important. We tend not to have a growth mindset. We tend to have a closed mindset. We tend to form an opinion and a view. What I tend to do in most of my sessions I'm doing training in, I start off with a growth mindset discussion, asking people what it is, showing them a video. I might use empathy video, Renee Brown, do something like that. But get people to open their minds up. Because you find when you're starting a meeting, especially if it's a meeting that you've used before, same participants, do something different with people. Encourage the growth mindset. 19. Definitely connect the dots. Yeah, really important. Connect back to how your company measures success. Connect back to what's important. Really connect dots with people, especially at the end of sessions with people. 20. Ask, learn, play, use interaction with people. 20 and 21. 21 is future of work event that I did. I got people to match facts to pictures, and we had them on a wall, we had them on a pinball game. But play is definitely the answer to engage people. Hard to sell in a law firm that you need to play to get people to interact, but I managed it. But definitely, play is definitely the answer. So, thanks for sharing your ideas. I think I've shared about 20 things you could actually go off and try. They're not just for a law firm, they're for any organisation in any job. These are not rocket science, but they're ways to engage people, they're ways to influence people, they're ways to really make a difference. I wanted to share this with you. I've got just 2 more pictures to show you. I thought this was really interesting. This is an artist called Mari Andrew, and she every day does a new picture and puts it on Instagram. And what I like about this one is it's that iceberg picture, but it means that what she's trying to say here is that all of these things that we're trying, you get rejected all the time. I keep trying new things with the law firms. I've got some lawyers, who, won't listen. Some lawyers who are really, quite set in their minds, and I fail and I can't get them engaged. So I might look like I've been really successful, but there's an iceberg underneath me of all the failures I've had. And this is, as you know, Lady Gaga, who recently, won an award, a BAFTA. And what I really liked about this was what she said when she won the award. This type of work, it's really hard, getting people to engage, understanding what they're trying to do, designing something that's valuable, that people appreciate. It's not easy. It's really, really hard. It's not about giving up, though. Of course, it helps if you've got Bradley Cooper working with you, because, I think I could definitely go into the law firm every day if Bradley Cooper was working with me. But even without Bradley Cooper, it's about not giving up. A bit to the last point as well, to the last speaker, Josh, he mentioned this. Don't forget, we're all trying to do our best. Be kind. It's free, it's easy, it's not hard. So just be kind to everyone. Hit back!